Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel, our main show of the week, Sunday Night Live, where we get ready for the upcoming week to discuss all things SHTF, all things being prepped for, understanding things local, national, international, hell, maybe even galactic. We're going to have to talk about everything, but also, this is your show. It's Sunday Night Live, meaning your questions, well, they're a priority. They take precedent over mine even. So the best way to get your questions up here is to be a subscriber on YouTube. So if you're new on YouTube, you've got to hit the subscribe button and wait 5 minutes. But if you're already a subscriber, you're good. But also, if you're on X, click the video, pop open the comment section, and Ooman will grab your questions. Same with, thepreparedmind.club. That is our flagship website. Subscribestar.com, another premium website that you guys support us through. And, right, to get your questions up here on the screen, there's a super chat button right up there in the corner. And then also down below, we got Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal. That's how we keep the lights on. We keep the energy level up. We keep everything going, folks. The momentum. The wake up America, wake up, red pill America. In some cases, we get a little black pilled. You know what I'm saying? Because it is crazy. They could shut out the lights and it'd go black pretty fast. It'd get nasty real fast. And that potential exists right now. So I've got the unique Prepared Mind combination of cafefe.com right here in the Prepared Mind cup. So I'll be drinking coffee. Gatorade, well, it's not really Gatorade, it's a electrolyte drink. And then also, for $50 and more super chat donations, a bottle of 15 years scotch this week. And we've already got 2 of those lined up. We'll get to those here really quick. I wanted to give everyone a chance to get in the room, get seated, get settled down, start interacting with everyone. I think we've got the best audience out there. The best audience out there. Oh, yeah. Cafefe.com right there. Pow. Copy down that link. The best coffee. These people are patriots. Not like that Black Rifle coffee. I thought they were patriots. Turns out, well, they're veterans, but they certainly don't love America the way we do. Oh, good God. In fact, they're fucking woke. I couldn't believe that. When that happened, I threw the coffee out. Literally. But deplorable? Yeah, I'm a deplorable, all right. Yeah, making fun of ourselves, having a little self-deprecation, but this company makes some delicious, delicious coffee. Every morning, 0 dark 30, I get a cup of that going. Anyways, it is Sunday Night Live. Sunday Night Live, and we have got one hell of a week coming up. So let's start with this. I want to introduce you, and I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit, to the 2028 presidential election. I have an incredible Democrat candidate. Well, if he's not the number one, he could be the vice presidential running mate for either AOC or Kamala Harris next time, right? So who is this person? Well, the district attorney is refusing to prosecute this transsexual offender. That's right, another Democrat presidential candidate, a transgender offender. Transgender offender who previously exposed himself at 2 schools and 3 recreational centers. And this is not me making this up. This is WJLA TV, right? This guy, it's a guy pretending to be a girl, His last name is Cox. Oh, how perfect is that? That's why I had to share this story with you guys right out the gate, right? So Cox exposed his little cock to children at 2 schools, to everyone at 3 rec centers, right? He's facing 12 counts, 12 criminal counts, right? Of being a sex offender in the proximity to children, right? 3 counts of a sex offender entering a school or child daycare center, 4 counts of indecent exposure, 2 counts of taking indecent liberties with children. What the fuck is that? Taking indecent liberties with children, and 1 count of identity theft. The perfect Democrat nominee. Am I right or what? This is a Democrat's Democrat. I mean, the Democrats are mad that we're sending fucking terrorists out of the country back to their own country of origin to be placed in a hardcore prison down in Venezuela. Now, at first, Venezuela's like, we're not taking those fucking people back. And the United States says, yes, you will. And they said, you're right, we will. We'll take our own criminals back. And the Democrats didn't want it. They even had one of their low-life scumbag judges. Federal judge was like, President Trump, you can't do that. I hereby command you to turn those planes around. Really? I think Trump, the Republicans, everyone has now realized, what's the judge going to do? This is not the Supreme Court. This is a low-life, bottom-feeding Democrat federal judge who has, as an Article 3 created person, no jurisdiction at all over the president and his Article 2 powers. What we're facing here, and a lot of people are saying these words, what we're facing here is a constitutional crisis with these fucking clowns. A constitutional crisis. Okay. Well, we're up to we're closing in on 200 people live right now. The ticker starts counting up. Takes a few minutes for everyone to realize, oh yeah, it's the showtime. And I would love for us to just climb and climb and climb. So it's up to you. Share the internet address. Hit the share button in the video. Whether you're on X, Facebook, Subscribestar, or thepreparedmind.club, or YouTube. Share, share, share. Get the word out. People need to wake up. Playtime is over, folks. Playtime is over. Now, we'll take the Cafefe link off the screen, and we're going to move on to Mr. Chin Music, who has done a $52.23 super chat donation. Pow! That is how we start off the show. So, 15-year Glenn Levitt right here. Oh, yeah, that's a generous one, too. Thank you, Mr. Chin Music. And this will keep the old mental gears turning right up here, folks. Hey, God bless America. Semper Fi to all of you. That means always faithful. It's what Marines say, and I think all Americans should be saying. Faithful to what we know is right, the Constitution, our belief systems, everything American. Semper Fi. Man, smooth like mother's milk. That'll clear you right up. All right, so we got Chin Music. I believe he's got some things he wants to talk about, and here we go. Thank you, Jolene. Jolene's the prepared mother, and Ooman is Ooman. So Chin Music says, we've all been patiently waiting to see what happens in the first 100 days, and overall I'm impressed with the speed and aggressive nature of the Trump administration. That said, it's becoming a bit of a pebble in my shoe with all the foot dragging on the truly important stuff, the criminal assault of our rights and our Constitution. Bongino, meaning Dan Bongino, swears in on Monday, tomorrow, And that makes the roster of tough people on both sides have already said, then truly that's the point and the country is lost. Maybe we should just, quote, get it on. As an ice cream eating retard once famously said, our patience is wearing thin. And that was Joe Biden, who was an ice cream eating retard. But he did say that. Our patience is wearing thin, right? Fuck Joe Biden and Semper Fi. P.S. Don't for a second mistake my sentiments for a lack of love for my country. And I think very well said. Let's back up a little bit if we can and address these things a little as we go. Like I said, great super chat donation of $52.23. That's $50 for the scotch and a 223 in the magazine. Anyways, the first 100 days, like you, Chin Music, I am very, very, very much impressed relative to what other presidents have done and Trump's first term. He jumped in with Doge and started firing people, cutting bureaucracies, removing their power, going after illegals, and just jumped right in. No warming up, no bullshit. And you and I, meaning, well, Chin, you and I, and Uman, and everyone here, we all knew that from the time he won the election till Inauguration Day, he should have been in there planning all of this out. Now, understand, the deep state, the Democrats, they knew Trump was coming as well, and they were putting every roadblock, impediment, obstacle in the way they could. So, yes, that said, I am extremely impressed with the amount of progress we've made. But that said, like you, for you, it's a pebble in your shoe. For me, it's a thorn in my side. Because I think we are getting foot dragging out of Pam Bondi. I think we're getting foot dragging out of Kash Patel. Kash is now arresting people. A few people have been arrested. Pam Bondi, she seems to think it's her job to be, well, the press liaison. And she runs to Fox News quicker than I run to the bathroom after drinking a 6-pack of beer. It's too much. Her job should be arresting people and prosecuting them. Instead, she thinks she needs to be on Fox News. Look, you're either going to, people out there, you either support Trump or you're against Trump. You either love America like us or you hate America like them, the Democrats. Pam Bondi is not going to win over anybody. And I think the White House press secretary is doing a phenomenal job of putting the press in their place, explaining things to them like they're children, because that is literally and intellectually what they are. They are infants. So I don't need her. What I need, like you're saying, the truly important stuff, the criminal assault of our rights and against our Constitution to stop. Absolutely stop. But I'll just put it out there. Where's the Epstein files? We were told day one. Look, if day one there had been arrests and we didn't get to see the whole list, okay, fine. We still would have asked for the lists, but at least we'd have arrests. We have neither arrests nor lists nor evidence in addition to what we already have. We already know quite a bit. It's already out there. Yet it was, well, this Friday. Well, next week. Give me 7 more days. I'm not fucking happy with that at all. You've got to be good to your word. And if you can't, tell us why. Don't just tell me it's coming. And I think these sentiments, the reason I'm sharing my sentiments with you is because I believe they're the sentiments most, if not all of us have. Is I'm not a child, you're not children. Explain to me why you can't put it out. And don't just give me this fucking blanket thing, right? It's national security and we need to no. Everything at your level is supposed to be national security. We already know that. Stop with the bullshit. What do you mean national security? Tell us. Oh, okay. So what it is, it's a covert international spy agency from another country that's the problem. Oh, you mean Mossad. Ah, you mean MI6 in Britain. Now I get it. Thank you for being a little more specific. It's that simple. Tell us. right? We're curious about P. Diddy. And folks, I'm sure that's going to handle itself as well. We've known about Epstein for how many fucking years? 6, 7, 8, and longer. Right? This P. Diddy thing is still warming up. I get it, but I bet there's a connection there. Oh, yeah. I bet there's a connection. And Oprah Winfrey is a huge part of it. So are the Clintons. Like I said, so is MI6, which is British CIA, and so is Mossad, which is Israeli CIA. I figure if I explain it that way, we all understand. If I just say Mossad, someone will go, what's Mossad? Is that some kind of massage parlor treatment? No, it's Israel's MI6. It's Israel's CIA, right? International intelligence and spy agency that likes to fuck with other governments. Now, that's what I want. It is time for that to come out. It's time for that. No more foot dragging. Explain it to us like we're adults, right? Now, Trump has been doing something fantastic here, right? He is taking and continues even this weekend. He did it again. What did he do, John? What did he do? Right? He's revoking security clearances. Now, the Paul Weiss law firm this weekend lost their shit. I say all law firms, every legal firm right now is suspect. They should have their security clearances pulled until they're reinvestigated. Period. Why do we need law firms to have security clearance? I never knew such a fucking thing existed. I know officials like, well, Susan Rice of Obama. Why does she still have hers? Well, I think hers is taken. I believe Obama's is taken. I could be mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong there. But the 51 intelligence officers who lied about the Trump-Russia collusion bullshit had theirs pulled. And many, if not all now, the Biden administration has had their pulled. Everyone except Hunter Biden, who still has Secret Service protection. And after being implicated in more criminal activities, in addition to and after the so-called grace period of his pardon me, pardon me. Yeah, he got pardoned, but apparently he's committed more crimes since then. He goes to South Africa and you and I are paying the fucking bill for his Secret Service. They should be deputized as FBI agents while they're over there, arrest his dumbass and bring him back. He's one that we can't deport. He's one of our own homegrown terrorists in America. And I don't think that's a stretch of the truth. If you heard the way he talked, that's right. There's audio and video of the way he's talked to other foreign agents and officers and people and other corporations as he shook them down for money for the big guy. So let's move on if we shall here. Get your questions, thoughts, comments down below. Keep the action going down below and listen to what I have to say because you're going to love this shit. Dan Bongino swears in on Monday, tomorrow. Right? So Dan Bongino was a Secret Service agent, and he has let the world know that Hillary is an evil human being. In fact, anyone who's ever worked with and around Hillary Clinton knows what an absolute evil piece of shit she is. A scary evil POS. Now, Bongino left the Secret Service, and he's been a regular on the news. Then he started his own podcast. He was like, that John guy's got a great podcast. I'll do what he does. Yeah, he's much more famous than me, of course. But he's giving up that gig, and he's going back to work at the FBI now instead of the Secret Service. So he's going to be the deputy director of the FBI. Now we're going to find out, does he talk the talk and walk the walk? Now, like I said, I have not been happy with Kash Patel. He has arrested some bad people. Hold that thought right there. Don't lose that there, prepared mother. I want them to start walking the walk. And I want to hear about this and hear about that. I want to see fucking arrests. I want to see leg irons. I want to see perp walks. I want to see blue dots in front of people's faces. I want people furious on the street, demanding justice, and I want to see the liberals melting down, crying, screaming that Trump is just out there getting vengeance on his political enemies. No, they're criminals. Sorry. Now, talker's complete. If Adam Schiff, Andrew McCabe, Benny Johnson, that's Mr. Fire Alarm, I guess, Nancy Pelosi, Andrew Vindeman, and Joe Biden aren't arrested and jailed the way Bannon, Navarro, let's not forget General Flynn, who was framed and arrested, not to mention Roger Stone, right, who's a political operative. They tried getting to Mr. My Pillow. They never arrested him. They got close. I thought they were going to, or did they? Anyone, keep me alive. Right? They were run out of government. They were run out of they were attacked. They were threatened. I mean, Peter Navarro stood up like a champ, like a human, like a real man. And this is before Biden took over, and yelled at that little sack of shit, Dr. Doom Fauci, and told him to shut up. And I believe that story, folks. I couldn't have sat there and listened to that little lying sack of shit who has been demonstrated to have lied again and again and again, and not just to the media. And if you'd like, I could fucking play that one. I could. Yeah, I'm going to play that.
Was it a mistake in so many states and so many localities to see schools closed as long as they were?
Well, I don't want to use the word mistake.
Well, did we pay too high a price?
There will be deleterious collateral consequences. If you go back, and I ask anybody to go back over the number of times that I've said we've got to do everything we can to keep the schools open, no one plays that clip. They always come back and say Fauci was responsible for closing schools. I had nothing to do. The schools should be closed. I had nothing to do. The schools should be closed. I had nothing to do. The schools should be closed.
He is a lying sack of shit. He lied in Congress. He lied to Senator Rand Paul multiple times. Never charged with perjury. Never arrested for that criminal offense. Not to mention, he's lied about everything else, right? There's so much going on right now. I get it. I get the difficulty of putting all of this together. But January 6, 2021, we can just arrest everybody who is in Washington, D.C., and maybe we'll charge them with crimes later if they survive going through prison at the D.C. gulag. Anyways, I'm not going to recount all that. I want to thank you, Mr. Chin Music, for the great donation, the super chat, and the topic and the subject matter. And yeah, we want action. Yes, very happy with what's happened. Ecstatic. But if you promised me $1 million and you only gave me 500,000, I'd be really happy about the 500,000, but I'd go, didn't you say $1 million? Right? Am I being greedy? Are you being selfish? Are we being unreasonable? No, not at all. Because in this case, we were told we need to lock down the country. We need to do it for the children. If we can just save one life, it'll be worth it. How many children? They say Epstein Island had 250 kids on it that were being used. Since Biden took office, 350,000 children disappeared. Where'd they go? What were they used for? And just last week, at the end of the week, guess what came up? Oh, yeah, the United Nations administrator in charge of, well, you guessed it, dealing with slavery had her own slaves. Tell me these aren't evil people, folks. Oh, wait, no one can tell me that. It's because they are. If we're supposed to protect the children and law and order and justice in the American way, then we need justice. These fuckers need to be arrested. Get Skippy. Get him over here. Right? They have the files. Now, if they need to come up with some kind of plan, like who to arrest first, do it. And I guarantee they will start rolling over on each other. In fact, man, didn't we just last week, didn't we have a high-level banking finance scumbag come out and admit he had sex with one of Epstein's assistants? I believe every time I saw Jeffrey Epstein, if it was not with Jizzy Maxwell, it was with some provocatively young-looking women. And a convicted pedophile that Epstein was. That's right. He was convicted, folks, like in 2008 or 9 or 12 or some shit. This is way before all the Pizzagate started. And the Pizzagate stuff is back in the news, folks. It's crazy. And this is how I'm going to end this topic right now. We need to keep the pressure on. Look, if they have legitimate reasons for going and dragging their feet, walking slow, making sure their plan is bulletproof and tight, I get it. I am still going to make as much noise as I can and call them and yell at them and text them and email them. We all should. To let them know we haven't forgotten. I have not forgotten a bit of this. It is in top of mind, front of head. Every day I get up and go, I want these arrests. These people need to see it. And yeah, that guy last week, he cracked. And he came out and admitted it, and it became public knowledge. And how much you want to bet? If he cracked under the pressure that's there now, how much do you want to bet he is going to roll over on everybody? These are a bunch of criminal scumbags that victimize children. You think they're going to be loyal to each other? Folks, if there's no honor among thieves, as the biblical expression goes, there will be absolutely no honor amongst adrenochrome-thirsty, vampirical, parasitic child molesters. And I think I've described them rather adequately. And then, revoke all security clearances for all lawyers until they prove themselves to be something other than fucking thieves themselves. All right, let's have some more fun. Let's change it up a little bit. Just a little bit. We've got a $50 super chat donation from guess who? None other than Darcy T. She's back here every week, just like Chin Music, and starts the show off with awesome, super chat donation, $50 PayPal donation, and very interesting topics. And you guys are amazing. All the different topics. We're not focused on just gun rights. We're not focused on just any one thing. The war in Ukraine or the war with the Houthis. Thank you very much, Jolene. I appreciate that. You guys will understand in a few minutes if you don't already. So Darcy T, wanting to make sure we stay mixed up, says they continue to show us UFO/UAP footage ad nauseum, ad infinitum. How close do you think we are to full disclosure? And she says, salute. What that means is she's buying me a scotch. And once again, got to keep the John well lubricated. Woo! All right, there we go. And I like to say that this shot glass here, with a genuine bullet molded into it, not only serves as the one-shot marker. Oh, God, scotch is good. It also is a genuine reminder of the bullet that went through Trump's ear and just missed his cranium. Now, back to the UFO UAP, meaning unidentified aerial phenomena. I think we're getting very close to full disclosure. But I don't think it's going to happen. We just crossed 300 people live. Pow! Good. I don't think it's going to happen until we clear up some more, shall we say, earthly bullshit that we've got to deal with. I think it's going to come. I think they're going to describe and tell us. And I think probably 3/4 of it's going to be a fucking lie. But the government is going to give us little bits of truth here and there. And it'll be up to you and me, us, the American people, and the people of the world. like our Canadian brothers, Australian brothers, our UK brothers and sisters, right? As well as, Mexico and Argentina and Brazil. And we got people all over the planet, don't we? The Netherlands, we got Remy Mersch over there. Now, to answer the question, be more specific. I think it'll come after we restore our constitutional republic, meaning we have to clean up the criminal scum so that government can once again be more honest with us. More honest with us. Right? Do we need the JFK files? I know it was the CIA, the mafia, the Secret Service, the Cuban nationals that were brought over that were pissed off at the Bay of Pigs failure. Right? I know they were involved in that. As well as the vice president, LBJ, who became the president, and a bunch of Texas businessmen and the Dallas Police Department were all involved at higher and lower levels, as well as other hitmen. There were multiple shooters, way more than they say. It wasn't just 2. It was more like 6. Now, all of that said, I don't care about that. 9/11, ooh, I would like those files to come out. I would like the facts. Let's expose the entire corrupt system. I'd like that. But eventually they're going to have to tell us about these UFOs. Now, will they lie to us? Assuredly, most assuredly. Will they admit that they've been here all along? Now, in the in the Old and New Testaments and artwork from the Renaissance and before, there are UAPs in the artwork and described in the Bible itself. Now, you go, back even further than the Bible to the Sumerian times. There's descriptions of them over in India, folks. That's part of their history that goes back 100,000 years. They don't say the world is 6,000 years like the Old Testament does. They're like, no, we've been here a lot longer than that, right? They're here. They're going to have to tell us. Are they buried in the ice in the Antarctica zone? Are they interdimensional beings? Are they supernatural or interdimensional? Are they angels and spiritual beings of light, or are they evil, rotten, low-down scumbags? Combination of everything. I think that's what we'll find out. And the government, or shall I say governments of the world, I think are going to try and mislead us as much as they think is necessary, or as much as they possibly can, to keep us from understanding the true nature of the universe. There's some fucking rabbit holes here, folks, like you cannot believe unless you go down them. Man spent some time going down them. In fact, are you okay there, man? Okay, he's good. He's good. There's a lot of rabbit holes. Antarctica, interdimensional space, parallel universes, Mandela effect. How about, let's see, donut-shaped Earth? That's a good one. Hollow Earth. Flat Earth, no Earth, meaning we are nothing but a mental simulation. We're a computer simulation. I mean, there's so many. It would be nice to get more facts than they have. There's more to us than just this rock spinning through space. Right? There's a lot more to it. I look forward to it anyways, Darcy. It's a great topic. And I don't think there's any one expert here that we could call on the show that could clear it up. That's why I believe the government, if they came clean with a lot of information, it would just raise more questions. But it's a great subject because there's so much more to it. Now, years ago, I read that the timeline we live under, 2,000 years after Christ, is a lie. That actually the year is like 700, not 2025. That they've lied and made shit up. How would we know? Lots of fun there. But you don't have to smoke weed. You don't have to take hallucinogens, right, to try and understand this stuff, right? You don't have to be some whacked out crazy drug person. You can do it all sober and just start learning that the world is way more than they want us to know. It truly is. And I look forward to those conversations. But for now, We've got a lot of meat and potatoes right in front of us with the world we live in. You need to be prepared, folks, because it's not going to be some mysterious UFO. No. It's going to be right here in front of us. And our world starts with, are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, a means of self-defense. Because if something goes wrong, you're on your own. And your neighbors, you might be able to trust some of them, but certainly not all of them. And the bad guys are everywhere. Whether we're talking about America-hating, Christian-hating, Jihad Joes. That's right, the Jihad Joe radical Islamists are out there. We've got drug lords and drug gangs. Right, we've got the Mexican cartels. We've got the Venezuelan gangs. We've got MS-13 operating in our country. Now, Tom Homan, border czar, federal agencies and federal officers are out there right now arresting and trying to find them. I don't want them to be in front of the news, even though I would like to see reports occasionally. I just want them arresting more. I just discovered today that they're pulling over truckers at truck stops, and if they can neither read nor speak English, they're being fined. And companies that hire these people that can neither read or write but somehow got a CDL or commercial driver's license, CDL, commercial driver's license to drive big trucks. They can't speak English. They can't read English. How the fuck are they supposed to obey our laws? Because we've been having a lot of trucking accidents, people getting killed and hurt. So they're pulling them out of trucks. They're getting them out of our country, and that's great. It truly is great. All right, let's have some fun. Let's get to your topics. We just did Darcy T. We just did Chin Music. Let's have some more fun. What's up next? Who's up next? Jolene. Holy cow, it's Boomer21 with a $20 Canadian super chat donation. And he says, it would be interesting to see how many times Pedo Joe, meaning President Joe Biden, was at Epstein's Island. I probably can't count that high. Now, I've got to tell you, Boomer, I am sure that Pedo Joe, okay, if you have seen the videos of Joe Biden sniffing children, you would vomit. If you had paid attention to every time Joe left the podium to run over and start getting touchy-feely with children, you would get sick. If you saw all the times Joe Biden was sniffing and handling other people's wives, you would get sick. If you saw the video, which just came out just a couple of days ago, of Joe Biden and his wife standing near Trump and Melania, and he walked over, he did a little side shuffle, put his hand and kind of took a swipe at her ass, which caused a big event. It was downplayed. It would make you fucking sick. And if you saw when he was kissing on babies and even saying, I'm going to eat that baby, you would get sick. This is a sick motherfucker, Joe Biden. Took a shower with his daughter. I'm sure it was more than just the one time that she recorded. His daughter recorded in her diary that became public knowledge. A grown man showering with a 12-year-old girl. Unbelievable. That was the president of the United States. That was the vice president for 2 terms. That was a U.S. senator, and before that, a U.S. congressman who ran for president back in 1988 and was disqualified for lying. He never quit lying, and the media just pretended like he didn't exist. That's just Joe. You know, he's full of shit. I don't know how many times he was down there, man. I don't know, but I'm sure it was a lot. But like President Barack Hussein Barry-Soetoro Obama and his husband, Michelle Obama. Someone prove me wrong. Who was in the White House and ordered pizza, meaning little girl, and hot dogs, meaning little boys, from Chicago. They spent tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, to have pizza and hot dogs flown from Chicago to the White House. What the fuck was that about in the Obama administration? Meaning, I'm sure Pedo Joe probably had other means and didn't have to have Epstein and Epstein's Island. But it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. There are people on that list that we have seen that would blow you away if you'd never seen them before. Hollywood figures. Supreme Court justices have been accused of being part of this pedophile ring. Supreme Court justices. So I'm sure appellate courts and federal judges galore were on that. Also politicians. From lowly congressmen and their staffs who like to have slave cages inside their Washington, D.C. offices. Now, these are some sick, perverted fucks. But also U.S. senators and other powerful politicians, and of course, bankers, financiers, and corporate CEOs, as well as aristocrats, meaning royalty out of Europe, being part of Pedo Joe's little circle of friends. It's going to be interesting, folks. We had one egg just crack. I want the arrests. Now, if Pam Bondi doesn't want to be the one to step out in front of the crosshairs of the camera to say hi, and if I say crosshairs, you might know what I'm talking about. If she's afraid, good. Good. Talk to these people privately and say, you want to name names? Because we'll let you. We'll march you right out in front of the cameras. You could admit guilt, name some names, and watch the fucking tidal wave start. Let them roll over on each other publicly and grant them a deal. Okay, Mr. Banker, that's wonderful. I'm glad you've admitted to being a Jeffrey Epstein pedophile. Now, all you have to do is admit publicly that you were part of it. And instead of getting a life sentence, you'll only have 30 years. Yeah, we know you're 60 and you probably won't make it to 90, but at least we won't hang you by your fucking toes from a yardarm in Gitmo, right? But you can clear your name and clear your conscience. I think that would be a good way. Let them start rolling over on each other publicly. We've already had several leave the country publicly, like Ellen DeGenerate. Yeah, she is a fucking degenerate. And I believe her at the time wife, that's right, her and her wife, Anne Heche, who was straight, became a lesbian with Ellen DeGenerate, and then decided to become straight again. And then she died, even though when they were wheeling her out of the house on a gurney and the helicopter was filming it, she tried getting off the gurney. She was going to expose the whole deal. And then just the other week, Gene Hackman somehow managed to, die. A lot of rumors out there, like, he overdosed on drugs. But first it was carbon monoxide poisoning. And then it was, somehow his dog managed to die from monoxide poisoning. And then, he had a hatchet in his skull. These people are sick. And what was he doing? Allegedly, he was going to be the egg that cracked and turn all these people in and expose them. I couldn't imagine having that on my conscience, right? Have a little talk with God. Geez, God, I guess I was a bad person. These people, what they've seen and done is incredible. Anyways, Boomer, thank you for the super chat donation right there, pal. And he's gone. Jolene, who's next on the Prepared Mind channel? We've got bump. Ooman says, here's your elected representatives. Senate.gov senators, right? Congress.gov contact. And then, of course, www.rhinowatchco.com. Rhinos are Republicans in name only. Like Susan Murkowski. No, that's Susan Rice. No, that's Susan Collins. There we go. Hard to get my traders straight sometimes. Yeah, Susan Collins is from Maine, but Lisa Murkowski is from Alaska. And they're both rhinos, Republicans in name only. They vote Democrat. In fact, Murkowski this week voted with Democrats They're just awful people, folks. They really are. They're awful fucking people. Anyways, these are your senators, your congressmen, your rhinos. Contact them. Just take a screenshot. You can find these very easy. In fact, at some point, we ought to just put them in the description of the videos down below permanently, just like Venmo, CashApp, PayPal, this preparedmind.club website, everything that's consistent all the time. Call these people. Here's how you find them. Here's how you contact them. Here's how you let them know what you think. Here's how you tell them what's important to you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Uman. And let's do another super chat if we can. Who's up next? We've got bump, ba-da-dump, bump. Cottage Farm is back in the house, and she says, aloha. I hope everyone is doing well, and aloha to you, Cottage Farm. Now, aloha, of course, is a greeting in Hawaii. It means hello. Hello to you, Cottage Farm. Thank you very much. Woo! And semper fi, my lady. Now, aloha means hello and goodbye in Hawaiian. I spent a little time there myself. And it just goes to prove, if I may quote the great and late George Carlin, if you spent too much time in the sun, a lot of you, that's what happens. But aloha, yeah. And another Hawaiian phrase that's not Hawaiian is aloha snack bar. If you hear someone saying that one, that's not your friend there. Anyways, Cottage Farm, thank you so much. I am doing well as can be expected. Circumstances well understood where we're all at. Thank you so much for the great chat. Again, your super chats and your questions support the show, keep the lights on, pay for the servers, the access, the the subscriptions we have to other information. We get information from across the internet, access to computer systems. We do not have White House security clearance. No, we don't, sadly. But I think it'd be great if we had a White House press person for the Prepared Mind channel. Maybe Michael up there in the greater Washington, D.C. Could be our White House representative, or maybe Frank, Big Frank could do that as well. He was in the greater Washington, D.C. area. Frank, I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Michael, hear from you from time to time. Hope you're doing well, brothers. Okay, let us continue if we shall. Thank you, Cottage Farm, and I really hope you're doing well. Out on the west coast of the country. I was once a West Coast California guy, and now I'm kind of I think I'm closer to the West Coast on Florida than I am the East Coast. In any event, thank you, Cottage Farm. And Jolene, who's up next? Who's got something to say? Holy shit, it's Professor Snape checking in. Wait, I thought Rickman died. Anyways, he says Musk is a transhumanist. Let's not forget that. I'm going to start right there because you are wanting to bring to everyone's attention the negative things, right? In other words, John, are you a worshiper of Elon Musk? John, are you a worshiper of Trump? John, have you swallowed their Kool-Aid? Has the rest of the audience just bought everything up? Hook, line, and sinker? The answer is fuck no. We pay very close attention. And I don't expect everyone just to believe everything I say or what anyone says in the comments. This is a show that is mainly about awareness, waking up, thinking for yourself, finding other avenues of information, meeting great people, and some entertainment to boot. So Musk is a transhumanist. Yeah, this whole brain thing with some kind of a chip. I'm not a big fan of Neuralink. Okay, I get it. Do I think Musk is being entirely genuine and open about what's going on up in space? No, I don't. I think they're continuing to lie to us about the true nature of space. There's still this thing up there, so-called the Van Allen radiation belt. There's that, right? You know, what else is up there? Well, if aliens are up there, right? And astronauts have talked about aliens on the moon. Oh, yeah. Aliens in space following them. You bet. So, yeah, I don't believe Mr. Musk 100%. Now, is he doing good things with Doge? Exposing crooked bastards, waste, fraud, theft, abuse, embezzlement, right? Extortion, corruption, bribery. I think he's doing fine there. I, like President Trump, want him to be much more aggressive. Fuck him. Bring out the information. I can take it. Right now, Professor Snape says Trump is an elite. Yes, he is. Trump is a billionaire. Yes, he is. Trump was beloved of the Democrats at one point. Yes, he was. Trump was a Democrat at one time. Yes, he was. So was Ronald Wilson Reagan, the great communicator, a great patriotic, America-loving American who didn't take shit off of nobody and who could articulate his position in a way that the American people understood and appreciated, and both our allies and enemies around the world respected. Now, allies and enemies around the world now respect Trump. They may not like him. They may not like his methods, his methodology, his standard operating procedure, his modus operandi. That scotch is making me smarter, by the way. They may not like him, but he's there. He is an elite. He is now not loved by Oprah and the Clintons and the Democrats and entertainment and Hollywood and the media. He is fucking hated by them. Once again, see that bullet in that, right? The only time CNN was ever at a Trump rally with cameras rolling live was for the day he took a fucking bullet through the ear. Tell me that that is, well, a believable coincidence. I don't buy it. Not for a fucking second. I think everyone knew. The same way CNN knew that Roger Stone was going to be arrested at 5 a.m. because they were there with cameras rolling. There are no coincidences, folks. There aren't. How much do I say? As a Marine, I saw and did some awful shit that nobody, unless you're there, understands. Right? You and me, we don't hear about anything through the regular news until it's done, settled, and it's gone. Like things happen days before they're reported. There's dirty deeds everywhere, folks. It's incredible what's going on. Trump is an elite. Could he be a double secret probation snake in the grass trying to fuck us over? Well, there's a lot of trust placed in people who are supposed to be your friends when they shoot you through the ear, don't you think? In any event, Professor Snape says, don't have a chance to get in the hot seat otherwise. Proceed with guarded caution. Yes, sir, 100%. I wanted to make my position clear, and I believe the position of most, if not all of us, and that, yes, we understand who these people are and some of the things they've done in the past, said, what they support, where they're going, and can you trust anybody? No, I don't trust my fucking banker. No, I don't. I don't trust the bank. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. Very few people do I trust. Because even with people that you trust, you can get shit on and attacked. They can change their mind about you in a fucking minute. Right? So I get it. That's why I say, hey, look, we should all listen to each other, talk, share, exchange ideas, understand where each of us is coming from, and test the information ourselves. Don't believe anyone else. Don't take me at my word. Look it up yourself. Come to your own conclusions. This is not a cult. This is not the Democrat Party, which is, by the way, the cult of death. They want death to Trump, death to Musk, death to Republicans, death to veterans. They want death to babies and unborn babies. Isn't it funny now that they're concerned about children, the Democrats? Oh, you're splitting up families. What about the 350,000 children taken from their families by Biden's administration? They're worried about babies, yet abortion is a religious sacrament to these people. Anyways, enough of this. Enough of it. Thank you, Professor Snape, Jolene Uman, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? And super chat button up there down below. We got PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. If you've got something to say, I want to hear it. And Uman says, I always say, don't be a political cheerleader. Be a political activist and call, text, email your representatives, including the president, and keep their feet to the fire. I like to put their buns on the fire if I can. In fact, I got another email from a congressional representative today. And I said, that's great. I love that you're doing something, but here's what I want. Fucking arrests. Just like that. I write that and send it to a congressman. I want arrests. And then I say, and everyone I know, we want arrests. Tell me he's not going to fucking see that. Oh, he will. I'm sure, and he should hear it from you and me and Uman and Jolene and John and John and John and Bonnie Blue and everybody, right? It should be from Chin Music. It should be from Tom, Dick, and Harry. It should be from Cottage Farm. It should be from everybody, right? And I know Darcy T is all over it. She's got to be. Right? All of us, right? We got Robin. You bet Robin. I'm sure Robin is, right? I'm sure every last one of us. Refneck, Redneck. I would be shocked if he says, well, I'm afraid to talk to these people. No, be brave, folks. The First Amendment to the United States, the Constitution for these United States, right here. The First Amendment says you can say and contact, redress of grievances, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, everything, right? There you go. So thank you, Uman. Yeah. Look, if they do something right, I'll cheer. You do something wrong, I'll criticize. But I am a political activist in the sense that the strongest form of political activism is fighting literally with your hands, feet, guns, your mind, everything. Free speech. I'm not saying be violent, folks. Did not say that. But I'm willing to go all the way. Because if I don't, we die. Right? That's what it means to be a soldier, a Marine, right? A seaman. You have to be willing to go all the way. Because if you don't, your enemy says, hey, look, yeah, you talk a good game. You talk a good game, right? But you don't really mean it because you're not willing to go all the way. The best way to defeat a bully, folks, you can try and convince your friends, hey, that guy's a bully. He's being mean to me. Or you can walk over and punch him in the fucking nose and end it right there. Well, right now, we're in the process saying, everyone, you see that bully over there? He's the bad guy. Right? I would like the bully to realize what's going on, the bad guys, before they have to get punched in the nose. Anyways, let's do it. Who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? And it's Dan the Man Erickson. This guy is not a quiet person either. There's so many of you guys out there. It's hard. You got Boomer, you got everybody but Dan the Man with a $50 super chat donation, which means for me, another scotch. And probably after this one, I'm going to need to make sure I stay calm and don't say anything too provocative. Well, I'm going to be as provocative as I can. Folks, we're at 350 people live. I want us to hit 400. Share the video, share the internet address, hit the share button on X, YouTube, subscribe star, follow on Facebook, everything, because you guys make the show happen. Dan, thank you very much for the delicious, and I might even say nutritious scotch. Yes, sir. Woo! Dan says all the vandalism on Tesla dealerships and vehicles is kind of ironic, considering the majority of people that own those are liberals. They truly are eating themselves. Yeah, they are. One of the biggest loudmouth assholes in the Senate, this bald bastard from Arizona, was an astronaut, right? Had a Tesla. He's a Democrat, and he's a liar. I think it's Mark Kelly. Can I get that right there, Uman? Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly? Okay, cool. I got his name right. He's an asshole. He sold his Tesla and bought, I believe, a Chevy Tahoe, or claims to have bought a Chevy Tahoe. So he's traded in his eco-friendly electric Tesla for a carbon-emitting, oil-consuming SUV, right? What a hypocrite. What a liar. And folks, I do not believe that these EVs are environmentally friendly in the least. I think they're actually worse. But for Democrats like Mark Kelly, senator, asshole, liar in the U.S. Senate, yeah, they're eating their own, they're eating themselves. They're showing what a bunch of bullshitters they are. He tried saying, well, this was made with good old American union labor. Mark, Senator, the unions are supporting Trump because he's bringing auto manufacturing back to the United States. Your Tahoe was probably manufactured 80 to 90% in other countries and portions of it assembled in America. So go fuck yourself. Anyways, the Teslas, you've got these radical left-wing moronic, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, Mr. Erickson, Dan the man. Yeah, they're going to Tesla dealerships and they're causing trouble. They're trying to scare people away. They're damaging property. They're smashing Teslas. They're vandalizing privately owned vehicles. They're scratching and keying swastikas on them. They're spray painting words on here. One particular idiot who I used to kind of respect, but for all the wrong reasons, was Cassandra Peterson, a.k.a. Elvira, right? Some of the first fake boobies to make their way into the television world. Elvira was the mistress of the dark, right? She made her money, showing her cleavage. Anyways, she's an idiot. She sold her Tesla and spray painted bad words on it. And a couple other celebrities have done the same thing. One particular idiot bought a Tesla and then destroyed it with a hammer, axes and shovels, and just beat the living shit out of it. Someone else did the same. They bought one and then smashed it with an excavator bucket. Just you're not hurting anybody but yourself, fuck nuts. What would have been interesting, though, is if they were smashing it and caused an electrical fire and the Tesla in question exploded in a ball of chemical flames and took these people out. But it didn't happen, at least not to my knowledge. In any event, they're only hurting themselves. They're eating themselves. They're showing the world that they're a bunch of idiotic hypocrites. And that's great. That's great because I really believe there are still fence sitters out there, meaning people who just don't know. Now, anyone who voted for Trump is definitely, in my opinion, solidly on the side of Trump and America and freedom and liberty. But I think there's a percentage of Democrats they continue to lose. They continue to go, I don't know about these Democrats, and then they just get swept. The more of this, the stupid happens, the more of their voter base goes away, Dan, by eating themselves, by being the most radical, stupid, socialist, communist, wacko liberals they can be. They're scaring away their voter base. Their approval numbers are lower than they have ever been with the American public. And these are their own internal polls. These are left-wing or mainstream media polls that are showing their approvals continue to go down, down, down into a burning ring of fire. Sorry, had to do it. Had to call on the man in black there. A little bit of little bit of Johnny Cash. All right, Dan, thank you. And speaking of cash, great $50 super chat donation. Keeps the lights on, tuna fish, Spam, and scotch in the pantry because you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. Because they could turn off the lights. They could allow an invasion of our country or set off violence with the drug lords, Antifa, BLM, pro-Palestinian terrorists. Oh, and apparently the fake KKK, the fake white supremacists, aka the federal stooges out there, decided to have a little protest or something, and they brought out their swastikas. So in response to that, I guess the local black population decided they were going to form a militia, and they're back now as well. In other words, I think that the deep state, you guys remember the deep state, don't you? The deep state has been talked about quite a bit. Deep state. When they first started talking about that, I was like, what is this deep state stuff? The deep state is the government that's been taken over, that took over the legitimate government, the bureaucracy, right? The intelligence agencies, both foreign and domestic, the banking cartels that have, through fascistic, shall we say, nepotism, have bought, paid, and pushed their way into government control. They have their agents to go out and be provocateurs. And they've been pushing for racism. They've been pushing for anti-everything, right? Anti-white, anti-Christian. There's a lot of anti-America out there, and pro-terrorist and pro-segregation. They're doing everything they can to convince people to fight and hate each other. They have been doing just that. Anyways, the deep state is not a joke. It's been recognized in the government, on the record. The deep state is real. As a reminder, here is a real, live congressman trying to make the people that took over the government look and sound like they're legitimate and the good guys.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state.
This is the Constitution for these United States of America. Let me read to you about the deep state. Fuck, there is no deep state in here. Surprise? Yeah, there is no deep state. It is an illegitimate, bureaucratic, and extra-governmental takeover using extortion, bribery, and every other dirty trick known to man to try and take control of the United States government and divorce us from our Constitution and our belief systems. They've been caught, they've been outed, and we're in that battle right now. Ooh, man, Jolene, who's next on the Prepared Mind channel? We're going into hour number 2, and we got Carport Carl, woo, with a $5 super chat donation. He says, if you are ever in Phoenix, Arizona, would love to meet up and buy a few rounds of drinks and pizza. Well, how about a calzone? I'm not allowed to talk about pizza as if it's something I want to eat because of the fruitiness. Right, the fact that these fucking weirdos have co-opted our language. In any event, I'm on a keto diet. I've lost a total of 5 pounds in 8 weeks, but I think it's fat that has left my body. In any event, I don't know if you noticed how slim I look, but anyways, Phoenix, Arizona. I've been there a couple of times. It's hot as fuck. I'll be going to the West Coast for my son Lucas's wedding in several months. I may end up doing a connecting flight in Phoenix. Who knows, though? I would love to meet more of you folks, but I really appreciate the great support. Carport Carl, you've been a supporter for years, on and off. I'm glad you're here today. We've got some important things to continue to talk about, so let's get it on. If you've got something to say, super chat button right up there. And down below, we have what? PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. They all work. Make sure it gets you on the board. What are we talking about next? You guys decide. Pow, it's Chin Music, and he's back with a $19.99 super chat donation. He says, John, it's all bigger in Texas, including corruption. I would cover all that, but it's in front of me. I hear you, man. Texas is showing itself to be an incredibly corrupt place as of late. In other words, I know all states are corrupt, including Florida. I know. I don't have any grand illusions. From the state level to the local, the county level, everything corrupt as fuck. But Texas is really showing us how bad it is. Chin music continues. You have to be a native to fully understand how we tick, right? Whether it's good or bad, whether it's a good or bad idea floated, we are the original hold my beer idiots. That's how we got LBJ. Oh, yeah. Lyndon Baines Johnson was a Texas congressman. A dirty, dirty son of a bitch. And I don't say that lightly. John F. Kennedy was killed in Dallas. President was assassinated in Dallas. Dallas and Texas politics helped make that happen. I believe the name Clint Murchin ought to do it. Is that the right name? Anyways, Murchison. There's lots of very rich people in Texas that were involved in that assassination. A fucking hitman. You wouldn't believe, folks. I'm not even a native of Texas, but yeah. What are they doing in Texas right now? We have RINO Republicans in Texas. They tried throwing out the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, who I believe is a good Texan. Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, I try praising because I want there to be more good governors, but he is a sack of shit who half the time you would think is a fucking Democrat. I think I've gotten that right, Mr. Chin. The other half, he does some good things, and then he'll do some stupid things. The Texas, shall we say, Assembly and Senate are full of backstabbing rhinos. Complete lying pieces of shit pretending to be Republicans, and they're not. Texas, my friends, is in trouble. It needs help just like the rest of the country. Right? Since I've moved here to the South, I've watched Florida become more and more conservative, but only because more Republicans have moved here, which is great. Absolutely great. No longer a swing state, right? It's solid Republican. Texas, I believe, is doing the same thing, but they have old blood, good old boy club, RINO Republican, sellout, hold my beer, look how shitty I can be politicians and businessmen and judges. George W. Bush is from Crawford, Texas. Okay, I get it. Chin, what do we need to do to fix Texas, man? Right? I think that's what everyone is asking. What do we need to do to fix our state? The same thing we need to do to fix our country. Right? Find your local representatives and let them know. Let them hear about it. Find your local assemblymen and your state senators and let them know. You're not representing me. You need to. And give them the reasons why. California, folks, was a fucking lost cause when I lived there. Right. My own assemblymen or congressmen, if you will, in California, they're all fucking losers. They were outnumbered, 9-1 because of Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Sacramento. Those areas were just loaded with scumbag liberals and the coastal counties too. But because of that, they outnumbered us greatly. Texas, I believe, can be fixed. California's a lost fucking cause. That's why portions of California are trying to break off. They're like, we don't have representation. Period. Anyways, Mr. Music, thank you so much for the great donations and everything, man. And the private conversations we have, I appreciate those as well. We need to have more of those, man. And I hope to see you soon. It'll be great. Good times, man. Good times coming. And hard times coming as well, especially if things get really, really nasty. Jolene, and who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? We've got Bump. Boomer is back again with another $20 super chat donation. You guys are making sure the lights stay on. You're making sure I've got lots of spam. And speaking of spam, over in Sweden, they're continuing to take bacon to bookstores and libraries and putting bacon inside Jihad Joe's holy books, the Quran. I'm not telling anyone to do that, just like I won't tell anyone to burn the Quran because that could get you killed. if not seriously injured, and probably harassed. But it sure is funny to me. Love that shit. And where I'm at in Florida, folks, I don't see any mosques. And I don't see any synagogues. It's pretty much alligator country here. And certainly no Korans. But I did know that one Muslim fellow that worked at a 7-Eleven. He was a nice guy. I was like, you got any of them BLT bacon sandwiches and that thing? Anyways, let's go back to Boomer. Boomer did a $20 super chat donation. He says, let's not forget Musk voted for Biden in the last election. But he had enough foresight to side with the winning ticket this time. Opportunist or patriot? I don't know, because I don't know Elon Musk that well. What I do know is what he said. And it kind of coincides with my thought. What he said and what I remember of Elon Musk saying about being a Democrat is he thought, he was led to believe that Democrats are the nice people. And that, so the inverse of that, the opposite is the Republicans are not nice. The Democrats are nice, meaning the Democrats have a heart. And that, the inverse, opposite, is Republicans don't have a heart, they're not nice. See, when I grew up, I was told, because of the mainstream media, my teachers, that Democrats are for the working man, right? Because I saw things, the unions, the working men in unions and automaking and steel and all this, right? They like the working man, right? And the working man supports the Democrats. And Republicans are for rich people only. Well, by the time I got to high school, I said, you know what? I don't see these Democrats being very nice. And I don't see them being for the working man. And being in California, I was seeing even back in the 80s, the mid-80s, how the Democrats were destroying California. And they were anti-American. And they weren't very nice. And they weren't very friendly. And they don't really care. Right? They support terrorists, but they don't support veterans. They support the enemies of America, but they don't support the American worker. The American worker needs jobs in America. Democrats send their companies out of the country to manufacture and produce and then, right, screw America. Right? So is Musk an opportunist or is he a patriot? Let's just go with something very simple. He wants America to be great. That's patriotic. He wants government to be not corrupt and have corruption removed and waste removed and fraud removed. That's good. That's good for America. It's good for us as individuals. Lowering our taxes, getting rid of criminals, right? Locking them up, sending bad people out of the country. All of those things are American, right? I don't care for political parties and labels. I am pro-American. I want less taxes, less government, less restrictions, less obtrusions. I don't want people telling me what to do. I don't want people violating my rights. All of those things are Republican virtues, or at least they were supposed to be, and they were at one time. Republicans in politics are less Republican than Elon Musk. Isn't that interesting? These people get represented or elected to represent us, but then they go to the state house or they go to Washington, D.C. And what do? They line their nest. They feather their nest. They enrich themselves. And they vote on shit that makes no sense. And they hire lawyers to hide all the dirty, rotten shit they do. Right? And they'll pack a bill with good things and nasty things. So they can say, I voted for that great bill there. But then you can criticize them, but you voted for all that other shit that was in there. Well, I had to vote to get the good stuff, and so some of the bad stuff, no, that's all wrong. So I believe Elon Musk is all about, what did he say? I'm going to use my technology to read and scan super fast all the bills and tell us what they're really about so that we know what's in each bill. Also, he says, let's not do these omnibus spending packages with 8,000, 16,000, 26,000 pages. One bill at a time. You got 3 or 4 pages for that bill? You want to pass a rule, a law, some shit? Vote on just that. So you don't go, well, I had to vote for the bad stuff to get to the good stuff, right? Kind of like Nancy Pelosi and her Obamacare. You've got to pass it before we'll let you read it. She should have been thrown in prison for that right there. Literally. That is such a treasonous philosophical statement. It's not just treasonous to me and you and the Constitution and our country and our history and our traditions. It was fucking treason to reasonable, logical, intellectual thought. Well, you have to jump off the bridge before we'll tell you what happens when you hit the fucking ground. Right? No, you jump off the bridge and hit the pavement below, you're dead. But they won't tell you that. They'll make you jump first. Right? Well, I know you don't jump. Right? In any event, I don't think Elon Musk is an opportunist as much as he is a patriot. But that does not mean I'm going to give him blanket support. Everything he says, I watch and listen. And I will criticize. And like I said, I don't think he's being honest about space and what's going on with their space programs. I don't think so. I don't think he's being absolutely honest. And at the same time, I believe with his level of security clearance, which he told us a couple of weeks ago, there's levels of security that he has obtained that he can't even tell you the names of because he's not allowed to. I think even hinting that there's levels of security above and beyond what we know of, I think that he shouldn't have even said anything about that. But he did. It was kind of a hat tip to everybody who knows that there are levels of security above the screen where you can't see anymore. And knowing that he has that leads me to believe he is required, right, to not say what the actual truths are when it comes to space. In any event, that's the way it is, folks. We're this close to hitting 400 people live. So share the internet address, hit the share button, email, text, a phone call, tell friends, family, loved ones, coworkers, and even your enemies. Hey, show up at This Prepared Mind. You just might have a good time, right? And liberals love crying now. That's their favorite thing to do is bitch, whine, and cry. So let's give them a good reason, right? You bet. In fact, I'm going to do this. The little Hitler over in Ukraine, known as Voldemort Zelensky, he has ruined yet another peace deal. And now the crazed little, and I mean little, maniacal faggot is pushing harder for World War III. And how is he doing that? He's bragging that he has access to a new long-range set of missiles that can hit Moscow. Meanwhile, Trump is working with Putin, and Putin is working with Trump to come up with a peace plan to end the conflict, to stop people dying everywhere, that is acceptable to both Russia and the rest of the world. And Ukraine is not run by Ukraine. Ukraine is not run by Zelensky. He is just the little Hitler. The same way, folks, Adolf Hitler was supported and financed by the British and American fascist bankers prior to World War II, and supported by the royal families of Europe prior to World War II. Facts, folks, facts. But little Zelensky, little Hitler, is bragging that he can hit Moscow. And don't worry, the Russians have a missile defense system, but they're trying to play nice. This is the world we live in, folks. It is uncertain. In World War III, bad things can happen. So tell everybody, share this video so people can wake up. SHTF is not just in your neighborhood, in your state, in our country. But if things go bad, and when I say bad, I mean Mad Max bad, it is you, the 10-mile radius around you, and what can happen in that, which is why you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, because you'll be on your own. Let's do this. Let's do some more super chats. I believe we got some more out there. Somewhere. We've got Fish Now. Elon said in an interview, the Democrats caused him to lose his son. He believed them about changing gender. They lied to him. Yeah. Elon Musk has a fruitcake tranny child. Like many parents out there, their children were taken from them by schools and by teachers who talked up transgenderism, who confused children at a time when they're weak and they need to be supported as who they are. It's not easy being a kid. Shit, I was there. Get your ass kicked. People make fun of you. You don't know what your life is about. You don't know what any life is about. Trying to figure this shit out. There's drugs, there's alcohol, there's sex, there's weird stuff all over the place just in the world of kids. And then you've got teachers showing up with pink hair, blue hair, green hair, fucking purple hair, putting communist flags in the class, tearing down the American flag, talking down America, talking up communism, and going, I won't tell your parents. Hey, little Billy, I won't tell your parents. You want to cut your dick off, don't you? Yeah, that'll make you feel good. Right? They did that to Elon's own son. A multi-billionaire, one of the richest men in the world, lost a child to this transgender woke bullshit. You think that doesn't piss him off? Right? Yeah. I don't think for a second that didn't influence him. The Democrats are the party, the cult of death. Cut your dick off, right? Cut off your boobies. Take puberty blockers. You are now sterilized. Oh, yeah. They hate people, folks. They hate Americans. They hate children. In fact, there are now many groups coming out, including physicians and psychologists, that say that what has been done to children, including the RFK Jr., right? They've done not just a great disservice, but I believe criminal, and even it's not mass murder, but it's a mass sterilization program, and it is culturally destructive, and in that instance, I believe genocidal to the American culture, to kill it and destroy it with this crap. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Fish Now, very, very much. Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? We've got bump Dan the Man Erickson back again with another $5 super chat. And Uman says, I still owe you a $50 super chat. Coming toward the end of the show, a C-note super chat for John's nightcap. Ruh-roh. Oh no. I've been floating on the bubble real nice. We're 90 minutes in on the show. 90 minutes in means we got 30 minutes to go, or as long as there's super chats, I will keep answering your questions. You guys make this show work. You guys support the show. You keep the studio live, and I only have to have 2 jobs because you guys support us so much. 2 jobs to pay the bills, 2 jobs to pay the taxes, 2 jobs to pay for everything that the Prepared Mind channel is, and you guys are awesome. I cannot literally do it without you guys. So thank you for the great support, Mr. Dan, and I look forward to that nightcap of a scotch. All right, everyone. Let's see. Jolene, do we got another one there? What do we have? Oh, good golly, it's Diorce checking in. Diorce, half man, half horse, and all man. $50 super chat donation. Here it goes. Looks like that nightcap is going to have a buddy. Woo! Oh, good golly, Diorce. I'm sure you've got something to say. Another longtime supporter. Diorce, kind of like, Dan the Man, kind of like Cottage Farm. Kind of like Ooh-Man. Kind of like Bonnie Blue. Kind of like Chin the Music. Everyone who's been here for so long, I appreciate and love you all. I know you love America, you love freedom, you love being smart asses, having a good time, and you love Sunday Night Live. Thank you for being part of the Prepared Mind Network. Bam, and down the hatch. Oh, woo! I'll be sleeping good tonight. Dior says, I'm building a taller, much stronger, and more secure replacement wooden side gate. Hold on a minute. Let me try this again. I'm building a taller, much stronger, and more secure replacement wooden side gate topped off with bird spikes after someone trespassed through said side gate and abandoned a pit bull. This pit bull had heavily the old gate attempting to escape my yard.
Heavily damaged.
This pit bull had heavily damaged the old gate attempting to escape my yard. In other words, do not mess around at Diorce's house. Not only does he have a pit bull in there who can chew his way through the gate itself sounds like it's armored and probably has some anti-biological matter attachments to it. I tell you what, though, I wouldn't care about the side gate. I wouldn't even care about the pit bull. I'd be afraid of running into a man who's half horse, half deer, likes scotch or whiskey, and probably has more ammunition than the local police department. Not that I know Dior's, but I imagine, folks, most of you have, if you've been prepping for a year or more, figured out how to fortify your house. Protect your house. You see, now there's been this thing going on just last week. They started doxing a Judge Chutkin, who was also fucking with Trump, decided to dox all of the Doge workers, Department of Government Efficiency workers. And the Democrats out there and their slimy little activist weasels who are not only destroying Teslas, fucking with Tesla dealerships, annoying anybody that they can with their bullshit, have decided to start swatting social media personalities. Someone like Diorce, he could be considered a social media personality. Now, Dan the Man, he puts his picture up when he does his super chats. What he's saying is, don't fuck with me, right? And then we got someone like Chin Music. He uses an alias. I wouldn't fuck with that guy, folks, right? In other words, if you've been a prepper, you understand what's going on, and you see what the left is doing. They're trying to start conflict. Literally, I believe one of the Twitter X superstars out there named Eagleman has been swatted 4 fucking times now. Cat Turd has been swatted multiple times now. Well over a dozen that we know of, social media personalities have been swatted. As you guys know, this is my real face. I live in the state of Florida. I have for years maintained as much a level of, shall we say, protection about where I am exactly. I've let it out of the bag that I'm in, Central Florida now. Still a very large swampy area. And outside the Command Central bunker, lots of swamps, lots of alligators, lots of holes in the swamp that need to be filled in, right? No one swatted me yet. And I don't want it to happen. I think it's very dangerous practice. And it's going to get people killed. It's going to get policemen killed. It's going to get Americans killed. And I believe Kash Patel, director for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, said they're investigating. They're going to try and figure out. I guess you can go buy a burner phone, call in a SWAT, meaning say, over at that person's house, there's a hostage being taken. There's a home invasion robbery. People are being killed, and the police show up ready to rock and roll. They're just looking for an opportunity to kill the bad guy, whoever it is. And that could be someone answering their door with their own gun saying, who the fuck is fucking with me at 1 a.m, 2 a.m, 3 a.m? And the police need to wake up. Yes, there are bad people out there that do bad things, and people call and they go out and they stop more bad things from happening. But these swattings are dangerous. So what I've been told is I need to call the local sheriff or police department or both and tell them this is what I do. This is what I say. So if my address ever shows up to my bunker, understand it's bullshit and it's one of these swatting people. And I'm very serious that I may need to do that because I do not want anyone to show up and be banging on the hatch, right? Them demanding I come out or them trying to beat their way in. But, luckily, like I said, I live alone in my bunker. It's just me and Dior's, right? But yeah, I mean, right. Dior's has a pit bull. Pit bulls are great pets, but they scare the hell out of a lot of people. And some of them are very dangerous and bad, and they lose their shit and kill people. Children, they attack, right? It's crazy. It's a crazy world, but police will kill a dog instantly, right? So it's a terrible thing. People get killed all the time. These Democrats are playing some very, very, very dangerous games. They need to be arrested. Anyways, Dior's, I am extremely grateful and glad, that you're here and that you have a well-fortified gate. Hopefully your front door is just as well, shall we say, fortified. People need to do that so that some bad guys, don't worry about the police kicking your door down or using one of those battering rams. Worry about home invasion robbery. Worry about BLM, Antifa. Worry about terrorists coming through your door, right, and doing a hostage situation for real and getting access to your bank account and transferring your money out. And they're pretty clever. They are pretty clever about it. Anyways, be prepared up here for it. For me, right, I have, well, as you can guess, as a Marine, I've got many, many, many self-defense tools to protect myself and those that I love. In any event, right, they might think of that, well, that's a great opportunity. Let's cause some conflict. And that's what they're doing, folks. These left-wing people are enemies, but they think that we're the threat. They think that we're the threat.
There are public figures today, yesterday, and the day before predicting and all but calling for mass violence and rioting in the streets.
Obviously, Republicans, I think, are the biggest threat to democracy. We don't separate right-wing extremists and Republican Party anymore. Republicans, I think, are the biggest threat to democracy,
biggest threat to democracy. We're the enemy. We're evil. They accuse us of being a threat, and then they do this, right? They threaten us. So where we have to fortify our side gate, where we have to adopt pit bulls that are just dropped off on our property. In any event, thank you, Dior's. Always great hearing from you. Great topic. We're still right there at 400 people live. Internet address, share it. Hit the share button. Be sure and subscribe also. On X, be sure and follow. Repost. Hit the repost button down below. Right? Thumbs up, heart, all that stuff. So I want to hit 400 before the show's over. We still got time. We got 20 minutes. Let's do it, Jolene. Who's up next? We've got bump, ba-da-dum, bump. Bump, bump. Chin Music with a $9.99 super chat. That was a good move. Nice. Super chat button up there is how you get on the screen like Chin Music here. Also, we've got PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App down below. Anyways, Chin Music says, if I was a Trump advisor, I would have him recognize George Floyd for 5 years for the miracle of 5 years of continuous sobriety and sign an executive order to make Jake from State Farm white again. Cry. All right, Chin. Let's start off with this. George Floyd, folks. Jolene says her finger stuttered. Okay, that was good. Beautiful stuff. Thank you, Jolene. Anyways, yeah, we had Mr. Professor Snape using his magic to get on the screen again. Number one, George Floyd has been both alcohol and fentanyl and all other drug-free. No marijuana in his system in 5 years. Congratulations, George Floyd. But as a convicted felon who pointed a loaded pistol at a pregnant woman's stomach after doing a home invasion robbery, you're not a good guy. You got some answering to do with the Most High, right? Not to mention, he was higher than a kite with enough fentanyl in his system to kill a fucking horse. And George Floyd was a big man, and he died. We call and jokingly refer to him as St. George Floyd. But he was high as a kite and passing counterfeit money, which is why the police were called, and he was arrested on that fateful day when he was sainted by the moronic community of Minneapolis. And then the media and politicians jumped on board, gave their blessing to the idiotic BLM community, who then proceeded to riot and cause $5 billion in damage, loss of life, business, jobs, etc. around the country, terrifying the world. Yeah. And Jake from State Farm did start out as a white guy, and then they changed that. In fact, television commercials have become a source of woke comedy over the past 5 years as well. And even President Biden, Sniffy Joe, even he couldn't resist making jokes about the fact that every couple that he sees in commercials is a mixed race couple, right? I don't think he realized he wasn't supposed to say anything, but, he's funny. It's some funny shit. But I think the more we can make liberals cry, the better, because they prove the point. And as far as St. George Floyd getting into heaven, that is not my job to determine whether or not he does. But there was a fateful day when a mural on the side of a brick wall that was painted with George Floyd's face. This is, I'll call it prophetic. Not in the way that I'm a teacher as the prophet of prepping, and I have predicted for years and years that you need to be, and have we or have we not learned that we were all right? We have taught each other well. And then there's the other kind of prophecy, right? But it was prophetic, if not instructive, in a spiritual kind of way, when that mural of George Floyd on a building was struck by lightning and the bricks exploded off the wall. And what I'd like to see is Trump declaring George Floyd what he was. He was the victim of a drug overdose and his own stupidity. He was not a saint, but rather a criminal. And all statues and monuments to a felon who did great harm to himself and others, he should not be memorialized as a good guy. That's how I think of him. The same way Charles Manson is not a good guy. I'm not saying that George Floyd was Charles Manson, but I think Charles Manson might say George Floyd was no saint. In any event, thank you, Mr. Chin Music. Woo! I'm feeling the scotch tonight, boys and girls. Woo! Thank you so much for the great support on the channel. Let's do it. Let's see. Have we got something else going out there? And let's go with this. We got Soft Kitty checking in. Thank you, Soft Kitty. She says, everyone, we need to set up an underground trades and survival systems when they start those digital dollars mandatory society. Okay, here's the deal with this. CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Interestingly and surprisingly, many states have legislation and passed rules to outlaw digital currencies. I think Florida is one of them. Right? In other words, what they are is they are a non-currency form of, in my opinion, barter. You're trading tokens. It's not legitimate. It's not legitimate money. In fact, gold and silver are actually the only real money. Federal Reserve notes, United States notes used to be tied to money, but now Those are usury currency. You pay a fee to use dollars. It's called inflation. Inflation is the usury we pay. On top of getting a loan, you pay percentages, and then the valuation goes down. Enough said on that. Underground trades is barter. Barter with real goods. Hey, I've got some beer. Oh, you've got eggs. Let's trade. You've got lumber. I've got gravel. Let's trade. Hey, you've got eggs. You want me to deliver across town. I'll deliver your eggs for some eggs, right? Barter. Underground trading. Survival systems, right? I don't think, Soft Kitty, that they're going to come in and say, no more US dollars. Only digital currency. I think they're going to do both at once. They're going to create digital accounts for you and me. And then they'll also have US dollars. What gets me is they're already digital. Right? If you've got your bank account on your phone, that's digital. You can transfer that money digitally. So let's just say Uman in the greater Chicago area and me in the greater Florida area needed to exchange money. Uman has some bearings, and I have some digital dollars. I can digitally send them up to him in payment, but the local banker is not going to get in his car with $55.28 and drive it up to Uman. It's digital already. So this claim that we need a central bank digital currency, there must be something more to it, huh? The reason Soft Kitty is getting this question answered so thoroughly is she's done a lot of super chats in the past. Now, this topic though, what is it about central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, the Fed coin? What is it about it that is reprehensible? Well, they can turn it off anytime they want. They can punish you anytime they want. The same way PayPal punished me, not Jolene, not Uman, not others with PayPal, but me and others like me who have said something they don't like, who have conducted business that they don't like, kind of like finding a way to make sure you have a way to get your animal antibiotics for your medicine. That's right. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. You need antibiotics for your pets in the event of an emergency, Mad Max, and there's no veterinarians. You need the different types, 4 main different types of antibiotics in your medicine cabinet. So PayPal said, we don't like you doing that, John. We don't think you should be able to supply through the preparedmind.club antibiotics for pets. Interestingly, the antibiotic for pets are the same exact ones that humans need. How about that? Because if you step on a rusty nail or get a scratch or a cut or an infection and it's Mad Max time, how are you supposed to get the medical attention you need? Pretty tricky, huh? That's right. Right, that's right. Get prepared, folks. Now, this one got me. This one got me today. Caught me by surprise. I hope you're prepared, folks, 100%. They want to make proclaiming Jesus is king illegal. I haven't heard anyone propose that Satanism has to be illegal. Hell, the Satanists want after-school clubs for our kids. Hell, the Satanists want to set up, during Christmas, satanic sacrificial altars in state capitals, at schools, on public grounds. They're not trying to outlaw that, but they want to say that proclaiming Jesus is king is illegal. So first, praying at abortion clinics or near them is illegal. Right? And then what else have they done? Well, they want to say that being a Christian and proclaiming, Jesus is your king is bad. It's illegal. They're trying this, folks. The First Amendment speaks to this very clearly. The state, the government cannot What? Tell you what you can or can't do with respect to, your belief system in your religion, right? But they're now trying to say that the First Amendment right we have of speaking or worshiping as we choose is offensive and anti-Semitic. Right now in this country, this concept, this discussion about anti-Semitism and free speech has really moved to center stage. Now, I have never said, I don't think, that being Islamic should be made illegal. What I have said is that using it as an excuse to be a terrorist, kill and harm, threaten and intimidate people, that's wrong. I don't go around and say, if you don't believe what I believe about Christianity or the New Testament or the Old Testament or the Sumerian text or the Bhagavad Gita, Hindu stuff, I don't say that, if you don't believe what I do, I'm going to kill you, like the Jihad Joes do, right? But this whole bit that, it's anti-Semitic to say anything good about Jesus is a crime now. They're pushing for that. Uman says anti-Semitic has turned into, you said something that I don't like. Or, in even more simple terms, is I'm offended that you said something about your religion that I don't like, right? In other words, people are being offended. It's a new form of wokeism to claim that, right, it's anti-Semitic to say anything good about Jesus. So it is on this ground alone that I plant a flag and I'll fight, especially since and I know many of you have been attacked by Democrats, by Hollywood, by communists for being Christian. Right? Hollywood portrays Christians as morons. Democrats attack Christians as being fundamentalists and whatever. And communists are just anti any religion, right? But now Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, and her foreign lobbyist groups, who I do not like. I don't like any foreign lobbyists. I don't care if they're from Egypt or Libya or France or the Vatican or Israel or Dubai or New Delhi or the city of London. I don't care where the fuck they're at. Right? These foreign lobbyists, they can claim to be offended and they can all fuck off. And I will fight for that all the way. I'm a Marine. I'm a Knights Templar. And I wear the armor of doing what's right. And I believe I can do what's right. You can. The armor of the Almighty, right? What is that? Being intelligent. Good golly. These people are crazy. Yeah, they don't want to be offended, or they're offended by this. Now, I get it, right? A lot of these Jihad Joe, pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas, right? What did they come out and do? They started attacking Jews and accusing Jews of genocide. Well, the Jews are fighting the Palestinians, and the Palestinians are fighting the Jews, and now the Houthis are in there, and Hezbollah's in there. That doesn't belong in America, right? But we also have free speech. And there's a lot of facts out there that people don't want to talk about. We're going to find out how this all shakes out. It's just a matter of time. But being offended, right? If that were the grounds for creating a law prohibiting other people from doing or saying or acting, then why doesn't me being offended at other people matter? Well, I guess it's because I don't have billions of dollars to throw around. But I don't like it when Democrats or Republicans are influenced by foreign lobbyists. I don't even like them being influenced by fucking domestic lobbyists, to be honest. These fucking attorneys, they should not be. They need to take money out of politics. Hey, you want to run for office? Go to your local radio station. Go to your local television station. Right? You want to get on the ballot? Get on the ballot. Talk to your competitors for that office, whether it's local or state or federal, and go out and debate the old-fashioned way. Right? Get your money through donations from your constituents, not from lobbyist groups. But again, I'm pretty sure I'm preaching to the crowd, the choir. And I don't think Trump is going to fix that problem. I think that problem is going to take probably a generation to fix. Getting foreign lobbyists out of our government, because they are so embedded in there. So embedded. And all they got to do is say, we set up a bank account in, say, Cyprus or the Cayman Islands or Indonesia. In fact, Indonesia has basically run an ad saying, why are you still putting your money in Switzerland or in the Cayman Islands when Indonesia is the new tax haven? In any event, right, these foreign lobbyists can just say, we put our money over here. Hey, surprise, you're now on the board of directors. You're the sole controlling person, CEO, for a company that now has $10 million sitting in that account. And nobody has to know about it because it's offshore. In any event, folks, I know the game because back in the 90s, I worked in the legal industry as a paralegal, helping people set up foreign corporations for the purpose of protecting assets and moving them offshore legally after paying taxes so that they could invest internationally and do things without having to pay Uncle Sam, right? But it wasn't a tax evasion scheme. It was essentially helping people protect themselves. In any event, enough about that. That was a long time ago. Fuck, that was almost 30 years ago. But I have to say this, never did I help anyone funnel money illegally, move money offshore illegally, or politics or any of that dirty shit. I just saw how it could be abused. In any event, holy cow, we're down to the last 4 minutes of the show and ticking down. Jolene, super chat donations. Anyone out there? Uman says it took over 60 years to take us here. It'll take at least that long to get it back. Well, if you go all the way back to, was it 1913 and the Federal Reserve Act? That's over 100 years. Well, we can get rid of the Federal Reserve pretty quick. And there is a bill on the floor, or there was just a couple of weeks ago, saying we need to get rid of the Fed. We need to get rid of the IRS. And those discussions are still ongoing. And while I doubt they'll happen, I'm hoping they do. And we could, do things. But I do agree with you, man. It's not going to happen overnight. There's too much money, too much influence, too much extortion, too much bribery, period. Too much to get it all taken care of immediately. But we can start arresting criminals, and we can proclaim it wrong and start the process of getting this shit out. Getting rid of lawyers and lobbyists. Getting rid of fascism in this country. In other words, the corporate and banking elites controlling the government, shall we say, officers and operatives and bureaucrats with money by indirectly paying and enriching them. Okay, thank you, Mr. Uman. Jolene, who's up next? We're running out of time. 2 minutes left. Holy shit. Woo! A $100 super chat donation from Mr. Dan the Man Erickson, a man who is not afraid to use his name, who's not afraid of being swatted, who's not afraid of communist fucks. Anyways, a massive donation that'll keep the lights on for another week at least. I got to tell you, Dan. Woo! That's the big one for the day. Semper Fidia here, down the hatch. Prost, salut, and God bless America. All right, Dan, I'll tell you what. That is a nightcap there. He says, did my taxes at H&R Block yesterday, paid the amount, which was $1,000 less than expected. Is there a Trump tax cut that's coming? He says, I owe Uman a $50 super chats from a couple months ago when ScrewTube demonetized your account. Drink up, Marine. What is the Why is it in smaller letters? That's good stuff. Anyways, this is a $100 super chat. And I'm going to make sure you get your $100 worth by getting 2 shots out of that. I don't know what started this rule. I think I was like $50 or more does a shot. But then like Dan is like, dude, that's 2 shots. So I'm going to take you up on it when you say drink up, Marine. Semper Fi to you, Dan, and to all veterans, patriots, sportsmen, and hardcore Constitution, freedom-loving Americans and our foreign allies in Australia, Canada, Mexico, Central South America, Europe, England, Scotland, and of course, in Belfast, Ireland. You know who you are, Vincent? We haven't heard from Steve Conlon in England in a while. We haven't heard from, what was his name up in Scotland? He's got the cat in his thing. Anyways, Dan, Semper Fi, brother. Woo! Like mother's milk. I'm going to be fucking spinning here in a second. So, I got to tell you, folks, we've got a lot going on. Dan, thank you. Wow. Newt Gingrich, right? Old timer, fossil Newt Gingrich has been speaking about judicial activism over the weekend. I had to share this, right? Not our kind of activism, social media activism, that's fine. He's talking about judicial activism, judges. He says he called it the last castle of left-wing nuttism. He said it's a, quote, fundamental assault on the constitutional order. I don't always agree with Newt Gingrich, but when he talks like that, I do. Folks, this is our country. Take it back. Become the activist you need to be in order to protect the country that we love. Right? These activist judges need to be outed and got rid of, right? They're all about overreach and judicial authority. And it's looking and sounding, and in fact, these words were written, that it's a case for sedition and treason. Pam Bondi needs to make arrests. This shit will stop fast. Arrest a few of them. Charge them with sedition. Charge them with treason, which is giving aid and comfort to the enemies of this country. They need to be charged with sedition and removed. Why even do impeachments when you can just remove them for violating our constitutional rights? Right? We're in a constitutional crisis, and it doesn't have to be allowed. Right? And now Newt Gingrich called it, right? He called it a fundamental assault on the constitutional order. Right? That's what he called it. I call it the death throes of a failed communist takeover. The deep state. This is what we got, folks. This is our country. It's our fight. It's our time. Get prepared. And one last message. I was contacted this weekend by an important person in the military, well, retired from the military at this point, who said, essentially, buckle up and hang on. Some crazy shit is going to come down. I asked for specifics. I was not given any. This is an insider who I hope is inside enough that he can keep us informed to the degree that it's safe to let the information out. And it was good to hear from him. Thank you, Sergeant Major. So I am on high alert watching what's going on. And by the way, they've got nuclear weapon sniffing planes and vehicles out again up in the upper Midwest, as well as some naval games going on both the east and west coasts of Florida, according to some other reports. Interesting business when you've got submarines out there looking. And then up on the northern border, on the Canadian border, we've got concerns over mass casualty, atomic/dirty bomb, nuclear bomb scare. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Be aware. Be prepared, because chance favors the prepared mind. You guys have been awesome. This has been a great show. I am now, if you ever played pinball, if you're that old, I am now at the tilt level. I've been bonked a couple of times. I've been tilted. Anyways, guys, thank you for the great support. Dan the Man. Now I can't remember everyone. I love you all. God bless America. Semper Fi.